All right, I've got 10 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get our meeting started. Jim, I believe you're going to do our invocation this morning.
Good morning, everybody. Our good and gracious Father, I do thank you for this time that you've given to us. I thank you for your Son, for him coming down here to die for us. Thank you, Father. Father, I ask that you'll be with this meeting today, that we will behave ourselves, that we'll do the business of the county. And I also ask, Father, that you'll be with our supervisors. I pray that you will give them wisdom, honesty, integrity, and also, Father, to do the job that they fixed yet. And I pray that you'll give that to them. Father, I want to thank you for this Thanksgiving and Christmas season that we're in right now. I want to thank you for how we have set aside Christmas to remember what you've done for us by giving us the gift of salvation through your Son. Father, thank you. Thank you for being our God. Thank you for taking care of us. Thank you for being the best God there ever was, ever will be, and the only God. Father, thank you. Thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America,
and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and call our meeting to order at 10:01. Can I have a roll call, please?
Clinton.
Here.
Fitch. Here. Stanzel. Here.
All present. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Diane. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Heather. Any further discussion?
I just have one question, and this is to Brenda. Are they gonna have, regarding the final payment request for the grant, do they have any issue with the fact that the doors are technically not done yet?
That was noted on the substantial completion form.
Okay,
So,
okay, all right.
No.
If there's no other discussion, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have a couple of public hearings this morning. Our first one is for a minor subdivision to be known as Bauer Subdivision. Can I have a motion to enter into public hearing at 10:02 a.m.?
So moved.
Motion by Heather. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We are in a public hearing. Brian, everything published as required?
Has been.
Okay. Did you receive any written comments?
Not on this one, other than what was submitted by the Conservation Department.
All right, go ahead and do your presentation.
So this is a one-lot subdivision to be known as Bauer Subdivision. It's currently zoned agricultural, and the acreage of the current parcel is 17.6 acres. They're looking to carve out a little over 3 acres, I believe, for another residential parcel there on that property. Current legal use, current parcel contains a dwelling that was constructed in 2017. There's a small, less than an acre pond at the south end of this parcel, and what is not mowed for residential purposes is mowed for hay ground, which is roughly 15 acres. Parcel D was in row crop production prior to 2017. Forest Ridgeway surveyed parcel D, which is what the entirety of this parcel being subdivided is coming out of, and sold it to Christopher and Renee Hagan in November of 17. The Hagans constructed the dwelling located on the property shortly thereafter and occupied until November of 22, when they sold it to the current owner, Ashley Bauer. No part of This subdivision falls within the FEMA flood zone area. Staff has determined that the proposed subdivision plat, CSR 2 is 49.9. The subdivision plat is just outside of the 2-mile radius of any incorporated city. Closest would be West Des Moines, but it is in fact outside of their jurisdiction. So no additional review or approval was required. Access is from Upland Lane and has been approved by the Madison County Engineer's Office for driveway location to serve Lot 1. This will serve as the only entrance of record for that lot. So agencies receiving notification was the Madison County Soil and Water Conservation District, Madison County Conservation, the Sheriff's Office, the Attorney, the NRCS, Madison County Engineer, and Environmental Health. Of that, we received comment from Conservation. It's a short here. Our office has reviewed the information provided by the Bauer subdivision request. Reviewing the property application with our resources and time-lapse imagery, our conclusion that most of the property has been disturbed in the form of row crop, pasture, or hay ground over time, up to and including 1930s imagery. It should be noted that the soil types on this site is 100% Ladoga soil loam. The natural vegetation is mixed big blue stem, little blue stem, switchgrass, and other grasses of tall grass, prairie, and deciduous trees. So staff has given consideration to the goals of the comprehensive plan, the requirements of both the Madison County zoning ordinance and Madison County subdivision regulations, and found that the plat meets all of those requirements. All documentation has been submitted, reviewed, and found to be in compliance.
Thank you, Ryan. Is there anyone here that wishes to comment during this hearing? Seeing none, can I have?
just have one question. Did the zoning commission approve this unanimously? Were there any concerns?
The zoning commission didn't see this one, as this one is a minor subdivision.
Okay.
I have heartburn, this is on the, hogback one?
No,
You're still okay, wait,
this is Bowers.
I'm okay with Bowers,
All right.
I can find any names.
If there's nothing else, can I have a motion to adjourn the hearing?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, second by Diane. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor of adjourning indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned at 10:07 a.m. Next is a public hearing for major subdivision to be known as Hogback Ridge Acres. Can I have a motion to enter into public hearing?
So moved.
I'll
You guys are
second.
right on top of each other.
That's all right.
I
I'll
have a motion
second.
by Heather, second by Diane. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor of entering a public hearing indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We are entered into public hearing at 10:08 a.m. Ryan, everything published as required.
It has been.
Did you receive any written comments?
Nothing other than conservation report.
Very good. Go ahead.
MVV Properties LLC is the applicant for this 5-lot subdivision to be known as Hogback Ridge Acres. Total acreage here is 49.94 acres. As I stated, number of lots is 5. The zoning commission recommendation was required for this subdivision. Their hearing was held November 16th, 2023, and it passed with a 5-2 vote of approving this subdivision conditionally. So what has happened is that they placed a condition basically on the west half, or what was not in row crop production prior to have a no disturbance area there allocated, so that no building or construction can take place in that western portion. And that's depicted on the final plat.
So basically the timber area.
Timber area, including the pond.
Is there a lot that divides that great state? Is it one part, a little bit of it goes to one plot and the rest goes to another? Is that, am I looking at that right?
explain that to me again?
There's like a north-south
It
line.
appears like you have lines through it and one
Okay,
person.
so this is actually a two parcel, it's prior to subdivision, it's two parcels. So is this what you're referring to?
Yeah, that appears that that grade state is split.
Yeah, so it is, they purchased the entirety of those two.
Yes.
And then in the plat, you can see this line here is referencing what that is. But in the division, it's taking all of that land, so lot 4 would have part of what's in this parcel and what's in this parcel. But that line will basically go away once it's subdivided.
So two people will share the pond, is that correct?
It looks like the
Like there's a
majority,
split down it.
It looks like it'll be
Yeah.
two landowners.
majority of it's in lot 3 and there'll be a little bit of it in lot 2.
Yeah, that's-
Okay, so, current parcel contains no building structures. Land is used for row crop production on the east half and mature timber, limestone ledges, and a small tributary creek on the west half. Longtime owner of this specific property and many other adjoining acres, John Elgin, passed away on December 5th, 2022. After his passing, it was transferred to David and Gail Elgin. On December 16th of 22, MBV Properties purchased the 49.94 acres from Dave and Gail on May 2nd of 23. There are roughly 3 acres in the western portion of the plat, which falls in the FEMA flood zone area. This area shall not be disturbed due to the conditions placed upon the final plat from the Madison County Zoning Commission. Madison County did determine the CSR2 of the area to be 52.29. Current comprehensive plan states protect and preserve land, agricultural land with the CSR 70 or above.
Is that for the whole 49?
That is for all of it.
Okay,
That's
so
not
the whole
just-
49.994 is the
Yeah.
CSR. Okay.
So without cutting that on GIS to determine what is the CSR of just the tillable ground as opposed to, we don't do that. We take it as the whole.
Okay.
So you have 5 3-acre lots.
They're larger than 3 acres.
Okay, how big are, what's this?
Like the varying in size.
Roughly,
Sizes.
yeah, roughly 10. 1 5-acre, 1 14, it looks like 3 that are 10. This plat is also not within 2 miles of any municipal boundary, therefore no additional review was required by a municipality. Access from Hogback Bridge Road has been approved by the engineer's office for 4 driveway locations. Lots 3 and 4 will share a driveway due to limited site distance. Lots 1, 2, and 5 will have their own driveway entrance, and these will serve as the entrances of record for Hogback Bridge acres.
So you have 4 new driveways on Hogback Ridge Road.
Yes.
Okay.
Hang on just a minute. So there is, in the findings of fact, the attorney did pay a lot of attention to pipeline easement. I did do some research through the National Pipeline Mapping System. None of that which is located on this proposed plat. Because Elgin's owns such a large tract in that area, it was included in the agreement, or the easement.
So they just put it on the whole tract?
Yeah, it's further to the south of this exact. So then, conservation's report, Steve can talk more to this if he'd like to, but I think the main things here, their concerns were rattlesnake habitat, wildlife habitat in whole. As the steep rock faces, kind of, there's den sites for rattlesnakes during the winter months.
Does that have to be disclosed by a realtor when they sell that this is a rattlesnake habitat? And it's quite a healthy living environment for them.
Anything could be rattlesnake habitat.
Yeah,
No, but do they tell you that? I mean,
I don't think so.
because there are places we know that they're always there.
It could be a future ordinance requirement to disclose, but right now there's not.
So the zoning commission, when we discussed this, we talked about the feasibility of having the developer do like a, what was I calling it? Environmental impact statement, having a professional engineer, professional in that area do something like that. Instead, we kind of went the route of just excluding all of that from the area to be able to be disturbed.
So the habitat is gonna be preserved, is what you're saying?
Well, no.
You're still in close proximity, I mean, and habitat's not just gonna be in the forested area, I'm sure they're feeding in that area right now as it was in row crop, and
You're still gonna greatly impact that habitat, because you'll put 5 houses, 5 driveways, 5 rooftops, it'll still directly impact it.
They're big lots, though.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're gonna be putting the housing, well, they have no choice, they're gonna be putting the housing with row crops.
Yeah, I know.
right.
It's still an environmental.
All right. Ryan, do you have anything else?
I don't.
Anyone from the public wish to speak regarding this matter? Yes, please come to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Yeah, Tim Strain, 1484 Hogback Ridge Road. I got cows, I'm within 500 feet of this property. I got farm, I go up and down that road all the time with equipment. Winter, summer, I mean, Holden driveway, that's gonna be on that hillside, it's like a blind spot. It is not good at all. And plus, you know, are these people gonna keep the fences up? And what, you know, what is this, gonna put a big burden on me with all these, with 5 houses coming in, with people that have no ag background at all and don't understand? I mean,
You farm to the north or the south?
both.
Both,
All
okay.
around.
Yeah, yeah. So, and plus, it's just, like I say, I oppose it, whether it does any good or not, but, I mean,
So do you think there's any solution that you could recommend that would alleviate the situation and still have the houses on there? And you expressed concern about fences, so.
yeah, I mean, yeah, like,
Do you
like I
think
say,
that-
I have cattle.
It's required by the developer, if they're gonna develop something, that all of the adjoining fences, in order for a developer to develop something, that they have to have a legal fence in place. So if there's not one already existing there, it's his responsibility to have it there.
And maintain.
Well, that's kind of an unclear area, because if it's sold, that's gonna change hands, so the developer probably won't have anything to do with it. But I believe at the implementation of the subdivision, it's his requirement to have a legal fence there. And then beyond that point, it would be between the landowners.
Okay, well, like I say, and the road too, having that many driveways, and it's primarily mostly agriculture. I mean, we got semis and equipment all year round going up and down it. I mean, I don't.
I've known Tim for a long time, but I think it's, I understand your angst, because it's somebody that maybe moves from California that comes here, and then they're upset, and they do not understand fencing laws, and I think it puts a terrible strain on the farming community. It's legitimate.
Certainly an issue that we deal with all the time.
You know.
Tim, do you have anything else?
No, not really, I guess.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
Yep.
Dan.
Anyone else wish to comment on this?
Yeah, I can.
All right, I'm Matt Bankson, co-owner of the property, applicant as well. I guess for starters, what we like to do in this situation, we're just trying to create a place where someone can buy land, build a house, have an acreage, have a 4-H project, have some cows, chickens, whatnot. It's hard to go out and buy 40, 50 acres. I'm firsthand know, 13 years ago when I first wanted a house, I was knocking on doors looking for land, because there was no 3 to 10 acre parcel available. So I've now started to try and help buy land and create options for people who can't buy, 50 acres or whatever it may be, 100 acres that are for sale. So if you go ask a farmer, hey, will you sell me 3 acres? They're going to say no way, and they'll yell at you, cuss at you, and that's pretty much what happens. I've been bit by dogs trying to do that for myself. Yelled at, screamed at, don't ever come back. So we're doing that to create a place for someone to have an acreage and get a little taste of the country. I know that it can create concerns because you don't know who buys it, and to his point, they could be out of state or have no idea what it's like to live in the country. But I guess that's anywhere. Someone could buy 100 acres and do the same thing from California and whatnot. We do put some covenants on there, protective covenants, I would say. Not real restrictive, but just to make sure everything is in order and one neighbor's not disturbing the peace to another neighbor, just to keep some checks and balances in. And then obviously with the driveway, there is the checks and balances with the site distance, and those are all approved. So yeah, it could be busier, especially during harvest and planting and whatnot, with the machines going up and down and equipment, but at least we've gone through the process of getting site distance from each direction, spacing from each direction, and whatnot. So, and then, yeah, I know typically, in my experience, a lot of them will still cash rent farm it. They'll build on, a yard is usually 2 acres or less with the house and the yard. People don't want to mow much, so they're going to eventually cash rent it or have it for horses or cows, whatever it may be. So, open to any questions.
You have a 14-acre lot, which you could have, you'd have to have facilities and good fences. You could have a horse. That 5-acre could maybe have, on a good year, 1 cow, maybe. You'd have to have really good fences. Now, you have to understand, you have all these lots together, so if I have, I think this is going to be interesting. If this 5-acre wants nothing, and then the next one, the 14-acre has, you could put sheep, goats on there. This is an interesting dynamics that I think you're going to have covenant. I mean, you could have some heartache here. You got a lot of driveways.
To your point, what kind of covenants?
So we do have animal restrictions for as far as the amount of numbers of 4-legged animals as well.
Well, that's just, you can put a covenant on it, but I mean, it could say on that 14 acres, you could have 2 cows, but on a bad year, like Tim would tell you, and you don't have any hay.
Yeah, they'd probably have to supplement hay. Unfortunately, I've got cows and I have to supplement hay. I don't have enough money to buy hundreds of acres and have hay and this and that, so we buy hay from a local farmer and I go pay my cows, so it's part of it, I guess. It's not and most people who are doing this, they're doing it for a hobby. They're not going to be making big money off their cows. It's going to be a hobby and a lifestyle. Yeah, I'd love to own hundreds of heads of cows, and same with hundreds of acres of land, but you're doing it to have a few in this situation, in my opinion.
One thing I do like about this is the larger lot size. It's not like you're cramming 3-acre lots, as many 3-acre lots as you can in on that. I do like that.
Yeah, I do too.
Do you have anything else?
No.
All right, very good, thank you. Anyone else wish to comment? Yes, sir, please come up, state your name and address.
My name's Matt Breeze. We own the property directly to the east of it. I'm kind of opposed to developments to begin with, just because through work and other things I've seen kind of the impact they have on everybody around them. Just for the simple fact if you don't know who's moving in. We just have 15 acres there. It's nothing special. We're not gonna build there. We never planned on building there. We do camp out there a lot in the summertime. And we do hunt out there a lot in the winter. It's just a nice recreation place for us. Looking at houses across the road is not what I wanna see when we're out there trying to enjoy ourselves. I know a lot of neighbors, including Jim, don't want this. It's at 10 o'clock on Tuesday, so it's obviously not overly easy to make it here. But I have talked to quite a few of them, and nobody wants a bunch of houses built around the middle of the country. That's why you live there. I guess that's pretty much it for me.
Thank you.
Do we limit, how many buildings do we limit? Do we limit buildings at all on these properties? Can there be multi-residences on one property, so there'd be only one house?
You can only have one dwelling per
One
parcel
dwelling
in
per
Madison.
parcel. Okay. Okay, so at most, we're gonna have 5 houses.
Could you house someone in a machine shed?
Not legally.
Not legally.
All right, anyone else wish to speak during the public comment section of this hearing? Okay, if not, can I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing?
So,
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion? If not, all in favor of adjourning indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, the hearing is adjourned at 10:26. This is our regular public comment section of the meeting. Anyone have any other public comments this morning?
Doesn't have to be on the agenda. If you have anything else you want to talk about, now would be the time.
Anyone on the phone have any public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to the resolutions. First is an EMS resolution approving C. Ganaway to move from a part-time EMT to part-time paramedic. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
second.
Second by Diane, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have an IT resolution approving VPN access for Kelly. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is a secondary roads resolution approving a wage adjustment for Cole Kearns as assistant to the county engineer due to the end of his probationary period. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're going to combine the next two resolutions. They're both hiring resolutions for secondary roads, one for a full-time equipment operator, one for a full-time truck driver. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a zoning resolution approving the plat of Bauer subdivision in Madison County. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Our next resolution is the Hogback Bridge Acres, a major subdivision in Madison County. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
I have a motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane, any further discussion? Okay. Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. All right. Next, we have an application for use of Madison County grounds for the Republican caucus on Monday, January 15th. A motion to approve.
So moved. That's what she can have.
Okay, motion by Heather, is there a second? Second by Diane? Any further discussion? I see we have the opening and closing of the courthouse after hours on.
I'm okay with this as long as you as long as the central committee commits to having somebody walk up, which is easy to do, and turn off all the lights.
Yeah, we can do that, I just didn't know, but I want, the reason why I put it on there, I didn't know if, one of you guys wanted to designate someone, a court staff, a courthouse, someone.
Is there any, like I said, if it was under that one, I'd just do it.
Again, I'm the advocate for that, because I think that would be the smoothest, but I
Is
don't
there,
think
is
there's
there,
any
is there a county employee that's under the two that lives within just, that would be a.
I'd find that out, maybe, because I'm way on, we're on all.
And I'm in town, I mean, if I'm going to the airport for caucus, I can pop in and out. Yeah.
Well, the hours are 5:30 to 9, so
When's the actual caucus
it
start?
starts at 7. So they need the time to set up and then time to break down. So theoretically, I mean, if we had to, we could open it.
I could open it, you can come back.
Yeah. if you're
Whoever's
open.
whoever's the chair can give me a number, if they're done at 8:30, give me a shout, and then pop in the box.
Because usually the presidential caucus part happens in the beginning, and then the rest is the party business,
Right.
so depending if,
Yeah, 75% of the people will leave.
Maybe you could just reach out and see if there's a county employee that,
I'm gonna say,
Let
yeah.
let me know,
Okay.
if need be, I don't know any reason I couldn't open and close.
well, can you do it, Phil?
Why, I
Okay,
can.
Philip, there you go. Philip is, he volunteered.
You're volunteer.
Yeah, no, I'm in
I'll
town.
let them know, yeah.
Whoever's in charge of that, get them in touch with me and we can coordinate that, that's no big deal. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, nothing under citizens' request to be heard. Other business, board member reports.
Want to go, Ryan?
Well, we met last week, so I had emergency management meeting, and that's all.
I had, the tour meeting is tonight, so I'll have more information on that. Iowa Workforce Development, I kind of wanted to give you guys a heads up. The federal Department of Labor, I think it was Department of Labor, did an audit of the whole state of funds, and they found that some monies will have to be returned because of documentation purposes. Our region was one that had that happen, about $45,000. So, but we're one of several that had the same issue.
Still have the money? Or is it spent?
Well, what they're gonna do is, rather than going to the counties asking for us to reimburse it, they are going to use the funds from future
Okay.
disbursements.
Okay.
So, yeah, so.
Well,
so
there
that's-
is a clause in your, because I was on that board, and we wrote a clause that any county that is involved in this had to have proof of insurance.
This is not it. This is not it. What it was is that the Department of Labor, the documentation that was the because you hired consultants to
I-
administer the
yes.
grant. So the consultant that 5 of the regions had, I think it was 5 regions, basically the documentation wasn't up to snuff according to the federal government. So they said, well, this amount of money you're going to have to pay back. And 5 had the same issue. So they believe there was a multi-responsibility problem. The local boards did not get any accurate training from the state on how to do that. So no one knew that they were doing it wrong. And so it was just it was
Yes.
stupid. Yes, so what they've done now, obviously, there's learning experience for everybody, so now they're putting into place better documentation requirements for any future consultants they hire. And the benefit is that we're being allowed to pay it back with future funds rather than going to the counties with our hands, asking for money.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, but aren't you going to go after who did it wrong? So you just have to pay it back? Yeah, but aren't you gonna go after the person that messed it up?
Well, they weren't told that the problem is, we weren't told that you needed in this particular kind of format. And that's the problem. We weren't told that we needed this format, so the consultant wasn't told we needed this format, and, yeah. So they hired an attorney to kind of go to bat, and that wasn't successful. The feds just said no, so here we are. There are gonna be some protections going forward in place. They are gonna have an on-site, they're gonna have an accountant, they're gonna have an attorney, so there's gonna be a lot more checks and balances. They're gonna have new policies on how to submit these documents that we're gonna be creating, and that it won't happen again. So, but it's not gonna cost our county any money, which is good, so I wanted to share that, because I don't know how much is gonna be disseminated going forward. Compensation plan committee met last night, so I'll give an update when we get that on the agenda. And I just wanted to give you guys a heads up, when the Board of Adjustment met regarding that substation, one of the members of the public advised them that they were approached by a company out of California to purchase 1,000 acres of land for a solar farm. So, so there's gonna be, we might sometime in the future revisit and review our solar ordinance to make sure it still is what we want, because there's already folks looking to purchase large tracts of land for that, and we don't know what that's gonna bring with it. So, that's my update.
Thank you. We had covered bridge preservation meeting, and Mike mentioned the grant application was submitted, so we discussed that in that meeting. And Aging Resources meeting, nothing particularly noteworthy in that meeting. I had a CICS meeting. The biggest thing from there is that our ending balance at the end of FY23 was $4,907,000, which is at the limit that's allowed, so we don't have any curtailment for FY25. So that was good news. I believe it's 20% this year. Next year it'll only be 5%, which I guess is a little different since it's state funding versus property tax dollars. With property tax dollars, 5% is pretty thin. That remains to be seen, but we'll have no curtailment there. Yesterday was the date for the meeting for the snow and mowing RFP. We had Jason Drake from Midwest Services and Chance Dillard of CD's Lawn Care there. I met with him briefly at 9 o'clock, and then Chip took him around to the different buildings. I had another provider that expressed some interest. I'm kind of surprised they weren't there, but anyway, we've got two people at that. And then finally, I'm going to be out of town for about a week. I'm leaving Friday morning, December 1st. I'll be back the evening of December 7th. But other than the construction meeting, I don't think there's any meetings scheduled.
So I'll share your construction meeting next week.
Yep.
Sure.
Okay, that's all I've got. Michelle, you've got word clerk on there. You got a...
Can I ask a question before you move?
Oh, I'm sorry.
On the
We didn't
bridge,
talk about your reports.
no, I did, I just
Oh, yeah,
did
you did. It was
emergency
a pretty brief.
management, and that's, you're both on the bridge preservation. Why are you guys not buying cameras for these bridges and putting them in there?
There's another grant request for that
Okay.
to the Greater Madison County Foundation. So,
Wouldn't it behoove St. Charles to buy their own camera and put it out there? I mean, it's
Sure.
just right there.
Talk to the St. Charles City Council
I'm
about
going
that.
to, because I think
I can't speak for them, but I think they
they
might have something
think so.
there.
Well, I know where it is, and, yeah, but.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know, because I'm tired of painting that.
Fortunately, I'm not sure a camera stops.
Yeah.
All right, Michelle, thanks for your report. Do you have anything you want to add to it other than the written report?
No.
Thanks for the
Just if there are
update.
any questions, if you have any.
I appreciate it.
You know, thanks for cleaning stuff up for us, you're getting stuff.
No problem.
All right, any old business? Okay, the new business item, I think Heather already spoke to that. 23 priorities, courthouse exterior project.
I am working with Mitch to get a solid number for the warranty bond. We have decided, I think, Aaron and I, that we will put the solid number or full replacement cost.
Whichever is greater.
It's kind of like your homeowner insurance where it's got a dollar amount, but it's got a
Yeah,
replacement.
and that, I did reach out to some other supervisors, and I think, go ahead and do it. If, you know, if it's 5,000 more than the bond, no one's probably gonna mess with it. So, that, and then, I think you all got the solution for the electrical box, the
It's
stone.
an
Oh.
idea anyway.
Yeah.
It's-
I think we should put the history of a
It's not really one big stone, it would be
No,
like
it's going to be
three
three.
different stones, so.
So we could put the dates, do something clever so it looks, and then
Like
they
it
just
was meant to be.
meant to be there. And
I
then
heard
they
what
can
you're
pick
saying.
it up and get to the box, because moving the box, when I researched that, sounds like that could be really dangerous.
In Madison, it sounds like you could trash the sidewalk and it's.
Terrible.
So are you working on that, or?
I was gonna reach out to maybe Brenda and Linda Griffith and Steve Smith and see what they would like on that, because Michelle told me there was a person here, and you correct me if I'm wrong, that was from Australia,
And she was looking for the cornerstone, the actual,
and it's her,
and it's probably down deep somewhere. So I thought it'd be nice to put 3 dates. You have 3 stones, the original, the rebuild, and then this project.
It's kind of neat.
yeah, we thought it was neat. We thought we could make that, etch that in or whatever. And I think, I know you can paint stone really successfully. There is a way to do it,
We
but.
have a lot of really good
We
local
do.
artists
We
that,
do.
that do that stone engraving.
And
I
then,
didn't think a monument company could do that
Yeah,
for you.
Exactly.
so we'll talk about it Tuesday, and then if it's okay with you two, I'll, work on getting that, and we'll decide Tuesday, but,
Yeah.
okay.
Sounds good, look forward to the day when that's no longer on our list.
Will they, is Mitch gonna be providing you that number regarding the, amount, or should Rick be?
It's both, they're both working, they're both
Okay.
are. It's going to go by Mitch, and then I'm going to send it to Rick, and we're going to make sure it's, yes, both.
Okay.
All right, very good. Comp plan revision, you had a meeting last night?
Yes, we had a little over 2.5-hour meeting. We went over the draft books that you guys had already gone over. We got through chapter 6. It was a very robust meeting. So we're gonna be meeting again in 2 weeks to hopefully finish out the rest. We sent the consultant back with some changes, some removals, some adds, and I look forward to the next meeting. Our goal is still to have the final draft sometime in January, and then we'll need to discuss how we want to do it. Do you want the consultant to schedule the public hearings, and then it comes to you guys, or do you want to review it first before we
I-
hold public
I'm gonna
hearings?
review it.
I'd like to have a chance to
Okay.
review it before that. So let's
Because
look
I
at
made
the final draft type version.
Okay.
I want to review.
And I don't know that I'd have, from what I've seen so far, I don't know that I have too much.
Right, and we did agree though, as a committee, the consultant would rely very heavily on the American Community Survey from the US Census for a lot of their data, which was questionable.
Is what it is.
So what we decided to do is, we gave them the direction of just using the actual US Census data, the 2020 data, rather than the community survey, and the local information. So I had requested Ryan and Jessica to assist me with some local, just some housing and permit information, which proved that the American Community Survey was pretty inaccurate. So I asked the consultant to rely on those 2 data points and not anything else when it comes to actual local data. Because the concern of the committee, as well as myself, was if we have wrong data in there, future boards could use that to make decisions and erroneously. So if you guys don't have a problem with that, that's how we'll move
No,
forward.
that's okay. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, that stuff's such a moving target.
It is a moving target.
When you're
and
talking
it's-
about information that time that's done is 4 years old.
Right, so, and then there's actually some data points that are gonna be removed. So because the position was, the purpose of the comprehensive plan is for us to use to make decisions going forward, and some of this data is just superfluous and not really necessary. So there's gonna be a lot of data points that are actually removed.
You mean like the stuff about basements and no basements?
We haven't gotten to that chapter
I
yet.
thought that was kind of,
The ones about, household income and substandard property and that kind of stuff, the community felt, it's like, well, how is this beneficial to make decisions on behalf of the county? Now, some of the income stuff we're gonna keep, but some of the stuff was considered superfluous. One thing that was interesting that
I did right. I think that income, that was one of mine. Yes, I think that,
Yeah, and then the one thing that they explained to us, the section about transfer payments, none of us really understood what that was. Basically what it is how much federal money is coming into the county. So, and I said, well, what value is that? And he said, well, the reason why you want that in there is because if the federal government changes their programs and lowers the amount of money coming into the county, it's good for us to know that, because then that can change how we make decisions.
So like any farm payments received would be
Well,
considered?
CRP.
Farm
Federal
payments were not
money.
included in that.
Well, CRP is federal money, any great states can be fed money, EQIP is all fed money.
It's not a farming practice, it's just like your Medicare.
Like Medicaid, Social Security, Medicare, those kind of
Road
things.
dollars.
Right. So
Well,
those
that would
are
be a
kind of.
farming practice, Ryan, CRP would be a farming
Yeah,
practice.
so it wouldn't be included in the,
In the.
It's not included in this report.
Okay.
So it's
So-
not payments to individuals so much.
Right, and the other thing too was brought up, when they compared, they showed total income, non-farm income, and farm income. Well, the farm income is deceptive because
Is it net?
they were
Okay.
using net on the farm income and they were using gross on the non-farm income, and so the decision was made, we're just gonna toss that out, because otherwise it makes it look like we don't have a large farming practice here, which we know is not true. And we didn't want decisions made by future boards saying, well, why are we paying so much attention to ag when the income is so low? Well, if you don't understand how that works, you're gonna make decisions.
You
wrong.
read my sticky note.
Well, I read that, and then there were farmers in our committee that gave really good input about that, and so, the very, very robust conversation. So I was hoping we'd get further along, but we are where we're at, because we're paying attention to details, so.
All right, anything else on that?
Nope.
Okay, ordinance review and updates. You mentioned that a little bit.
We are, I don't know if the board wants to review our solar ordinance, now that we know that there's,
Since it's in place, why would someone even look?
I don't know if they know that it's there, or if they're, like if they buy a big parcel, then they theoretically, as long as they're 500 feet setback from the next parcel, they could. So we would have, I mean, we haven't really looked at it since 2020, so I'm wondering if it might be worth just a cursory review.
If you're doing solar panels, you're going to need relatively really flat ground. That's scary.
That's high CSR.
That could be. And that California person was here. I was brand new. Do you remember that, Phil?
That was in the beginning, this is somebody different, according to this farmer.
They were also from California, and they said you can farm around them, you can raise goats. I said, have you ever raised goats? Goats would eat every wire.
Yeah,
So that was a little frightening,
yeah, so.
disconnect.
But the thing is like, we aren't aware this is going on, so this particular farmer was approached, so they gave that information, and it kind of had a light bulb go off, and I'm wondering if we should just review that to make sure that it's
I would think
still
they would
applicable.
I would think they're not doing their due diligence if they might just be sniffing around. But
I don't know, so I just wanted to bring that up, if that's something, I mean, I could always look at it and see, and then bring it to the board again to,
Look at it, and if it's needs tightened, we can talk about it.
we can talk about it, okay, all right.
All right, anything else? Okay, if not, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So,
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.